Thank you very much again. Without any introduction, just to save time, I would like to thank all of you accepted the invitation of United Nations University to participate in the official opening of UNU-FLORES. And I would like to invite Professor Konrad Osterwalder, Under Secretary General of United Nations and Rector of UNU, to give his opening address, please.
Ladies and gentlemen, colleagues, after the lecture we have had, actually I feel almost that it is a sin to try to say something on top of it. I would like to go home to think about all the many things that were said, to think critically about it, and maybe to improve some of the ideas. But okay, we have to wait before we can do that. For the moment, I would like to greet some of you, knowing that I will leave out many names, and those who are not being greeted explicitly by me, I ask you to tell yourself that I am very happy about your presence. But I would like to give a warm welcome to Her Excellency Professor Sabine von Schorlemer, Saxon State Minister for Higher Education, Research and the Arts. I would like to welcome Dr. Maximilian Metzger, Deputy Director General for the International Cooperation in Education and Research of the Federal Ministry of Education and Research, BMBF. His Excellency Dr. Martin Frick, Ambassador for International Organizations in Germany. Mr. Thomas Stratenwert, Head of Division General Fundamental, International and European Aspects of Water Management, Federal Ministry of the Environment, Nature, Conservation and Nuclear Safety. The shorthand for this is BMU. His Excellency Professor Luis Augusto Pelembe, Minister of Science and Technology of Mozambique, the important partner of the new Institute FLORES. His Excellency Mr. Amadeu Paulo Samuel da Conceição, Ambassador of Mozambique to Germany. His Excellency Professor Ana Maria Gracia Mundiana, Vice Rector for Academic Affairs from the University of Eduardo Mondlane in Mozambique. The Honorable Mrs. Angela Kappel, Mayor of the city of Bonn. Professor Hans Müller-Steinhagen, Rector Magnificus of the Technical University of Dresden. Professor Gerhard Rödl, Vice Rector for Research at the Technical University of Dresden. Professor Hans-Gerd Maas, Dean of the Faculty of Environmental Sciences at the TUD. Professor Hans Wiesmet, President of the Dresden International University. Professor Mohamed Abu Said, President of the Arab Water Council in Cairo in Egypt. Professor Ratan Lal, Director of the Carbon Management Sequestration Center at Ohio State University, and you have just heard his wonderful talk. Excellencies, distinguished guests, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen. Before I come to one or two remarks that go in the same direction as our lecture, I would like to formulate a warm thank you to the founding director of this institute, Reza Adarkhanian. Without his engagement, without his fantastic ideas, without his art of convincing collaborators to do a creative and fascinating job, we would not be here and enjoy this afternoon. Reza, thank you very much, but there is a danger. I warn you. We will measure you, your future work, on what you did today. Thank you. Let me take up one thought of the seminar we just heard. It is difficult to change the world relying on old people, because they believe they know how things have to be done, and usually it's the wrong way. But you cannot change them. You can try to change the direction of thinking of the young people. And this is why education is so crucial and so important. And specifying on the education of engineers, we are here at the Technical University. The old scheme was to try to combine research and teaching with research experience, so as to further the spirit of innovation. Innovation is the catchword. That is what our industry needs. That is what our civilization needs to produce more, to produce faster, to produce more efficiently. Well, compared to this basic attitude, which I think is still the attitude of the majority of our people, 10 years before this university was founded, a book appeared that has been a bestseller ever since. 1952, Rachel Carson wrote her book Silent Spring, which probably most of you know, a book that describes the damage that is being done by using fertilizers and insecticides and similar chemicals without limits. In the year of the foundation of this institution, in 1962, the Americans exploded the first hydrogen bomb in the atmosphere. And in 1972, the Club of Rome published its first version of Limits to Growth, a book of which every individual statement is probably wrong, but the book that had an enormous influence on the thinking of many people, and it still has, I think. And it's the first edition, in spite of the fact that every 10 years there was a new edition coming forward. So, what should we do about the education of the young people? Well, I think in the future, innovation is not just innovation. We have to be aware of the big problems of mankind, of the big problems of survival of our planet and of ourselves. And once we have an idea of this, and the seminar showed that there are such ideas, we have to try to motivate the students to come to their innovations in the right field, in a field that does not increase the production, that does not make cars faster or steaks bigger, or I don't know what, but innovations that really help solving the problems, that help moving our society in the direction of a sustainable development. Sustainable development, I think the word did not appear in the lecture, but it is an important concept as far as I'm concerned. Because if you think of all your friends and your neighbors and people in other countries you don't know, who believes in that? Nobody believes in it. Why should I care about the fate of somebody who is 10,000 miles away from me? Why should I care about somebody who lives 50 years after my disappearance? This is the basic attitude of people. And this is what we have to change. And this is ultimately a moral question. We cannot prove it scientifically that I have to care about people who live in 50 years. Now, talking about moral is very difficult, I know it. Because moral notions differ from one culture to another. So how could a moral principle help solving these problems? Well, I think we know that even if there are many moral codices over the world, in the different civilizations, there is a greatest common denominator of all these moral schemes. And to some of these common denominators we got used to. For example, there's the Hippocratic Oath. Nobody questions the Hippocratic Oath. Or there's the Declaration of Human Rights, which again seems to be a common value in all moral schemes. And what we have to define now is an oath for sustainability, which I claim can also be identified as something that is common to all the moral schemes in all the civilizations of the world. This is how I think we should proceed, and I wish all of you good luck when you think about this proposal and maybe take the oath for sustainable development. Thank you.